Yes, ma'am. Good evening, ma'am. Myself is Sneha, and currently I am pursuing my PGDM in Shiv Shivani Institute of Management. And thank you for this opportunity to interview you. And
Good evening, Sneha. It's absolutely my pleasure. We can go ahead.
yes, ma'am. Please introduce yourself and please give a profile of yours.
Sure. As you know, that I am already an alumni of SSIM itself. So,
Okay.
I'm Varshini working for HR department. I'm almost around 4 years of experience in the core HR generalist profile. So, I involve in activities like right from hire to retire of an employee. So, it's in and around of people management and engagement, recruiting, onboarding, exit. So I do in and around of HR aspects.
Okay, ma'am. So, ma'am, my first question is, how is your organization balancing cost optimization with the need to retain and develop key talent in current economic environment?
Okay, so regarding the cost cutting, cost management, see, generally the corporates these days, you are aware that they follow a hybrid model.
Yes,
So, when it's a hybrid model, definitely there is a lot of cost cutting. The food, if you come to employees, food, if you're providing, that will be reduced. The footprint, basically, if it's transport providing company, that will be reduced. The electricity, in terms of cost cutting, this also will be reduced. But these are in terms of facilities. When I say in terms of HR, the cost cutting, see, when we are offering to employees, I mean offering jobs basically, so lateral hiring, we of course try to keep a budget. So whatever falls within the bracket, according to that budget only we do suggest and take the employees. So that's one way of cost cutting. And then other things is that by properly managing and correctly managing the talent and hiring them, that's how we do it. We strategize how our workflow is, how much percentage of freshers you want to hire and how much percentage of actual laterals you want to hire. So that's how we follow.
okay, like it's basically depends on that
Yeah, based on the requirement and the
requirements
company.
and everything.
Yes.
Okay, ma'am. So, the second will be, what emerging skill gaps are you seeing in workforce, and how is HR responding to unskill and reskill employees to stay motivated through trainings and all?
Okay. Regarding the skill, definitely I feel that we have been interviewing many people, many freshers these days. But then the basic thing that they are lacking is that, their basic strong skills, not just skills, I can say basics of knowledge, be it finance or be it any respective role, their basics are not strong. So they are just attending the exams, I feel, for the sake of it, but rather not grasping the concept. So we have noticed this in most of the freshers. So that's why we are also giving feedbacks to colleges, and colleges are training their respective students accordingly. So this is one way. And the other way, upskilling our own employees, is by giving them a couple of training, give them a certain module, give them higher management speeches or some kind of guest lectures which would be helpful. So these are a couple of things which will upskill each person.
Okay, ma'am. Next term, we are going to be into internships, and many companies will be coming to hire for internships. So, what could be the advice that you can give us for this skills apart from these all academic things and all?
Right. Apart from academics, most important would be communication as per our role. In respect to communication, the person should also have good confidence. So I see that people know the concept, but they are not able to explain it. So because of fear or something, it's always suggestible that they stand in front of a mirror or sit with some comfortable person and practice what they want to tell in terms of their introduction or concept wise. So these are certain tips.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you. It will be helpful for my internships.
No problem.
So, next, how are economic uncertainties affecting your recruitment strategies and employer branding efforts?
Recruitment strategy, we of course have recruitment strategy for every year. It keeps changing and it depends on how much requirement we have. But if you ask me about the tools or anything as such, what is changing in the current process? See, initially we used to just take kind of hiring in terms of technical or any final round, and then nowadays we have started including an assessment round. So something like this, or if any uncertainty, like when COVID happened, there was issue where we had employees, we were not able to actually find out the right talent because all it was online interviews. We were not sure who's bluffing, who were really expecting, and who were actually telling. So for all this, it's again not just the interviews, upskilling them, giving them training, giving them a couple of additional pet projects, like during the probation or anything, if we are giving them projects, so at any time they will have to prove themselves, right? So
Yes.
that is there. If that's not the case, the companies follow the probation concept, where if within the probation, if the employee is not working, then they will be asked to resign. This is a couple of things which companies do.
So it's like due to COVID, it was a lot of damage that created.
Right, right.
Okay, ma'am. So I wanted to ask about your organization. How does your organization align HR strategy with overall the business goals?
See, so it's again like each time. So let's say if next year our target is around 100 people joining us within the next 2 to 3 months,
Yeah.
we make sure that we analyze as to how many campus recruits we would get, how many conversion rates from the internship we would have, and next how many lateral hiring, that is how many experienced people can be hired. So based on that, our team will divide and work on the hiring process. So that is how we strategize, and then the policies and a couple of benefits. So we keep changing the benefits, be it attracting the candidates to come join us, welcome. So these are a couple of things which we do.
Okay, ma'am. Like nowadays, the skill people are very much they lack in skills and all. So there are like a theory X kind of employees and theory kind of employees. So how do what practices the organization your organization uses to skill them or the motivate the employees to perform well and improve their performance?
See, so sometimes there will be two cases. One is either that they are actually not able to work because of the concepts. Such case, training will be provided. But there will be other batch who are actually tired of working, or who are facing stress or some kind of thing which is going on. So for such people, we do have mental wellness, and we also have a kind of employee engagement activity to keep the employee morale and keep them motivated. So that's how they engage themselves. And we also have this 5 day working, of course, which most of the corporate follow, for them to refresh, restart again from Monday. So that's how it works.
Okay, ma'am. So there is this question that how do you measure the organization measures the effectiveness or the how do you do the performance appraisals of the employees in your organization? Like what method
So
you use,
right
like the
in
ranking?
our organization, it's completely tool based. So basically, the process is that on our tool, first the employees will set their goals. Like let's say I will complete the project with 99% accuracy, and then I might get a couple of clients, or I might be good at my quality scores and communication skills. So there are few goals and competencies for which the employee will first rate themselves. After they rate, the respective manager will rate themselves. So completely based on their rating, the performance appraisal will happen. They will also have one-on-one meetings and identify what to improve and what are the good things which were done.
So like how do you handle this the underperforming employees in the organization?
See, underperforming, we first give them training. and we will give them three projects and three chances to prove themselves basically. So they will be put into a plan that is called PIP. That's nothing but performance improvement plan. So in that plan they will be given 3 months of training and also being given different projects. So if they still don't perform, then they will be asked to resign.
Okay.
So of course, we will have a push from our end. If
Yes.
it's still not working after the enough given time, then we are of course forced to ask them to resign.
Okay, ma'am. So my next question is what challenges are you facing in sustaining employees' engagement and well being, especially with hybrid or distributed workforces?
So challenge is that see, though we are giving hybrid, we want the employees to come 3 days to office and 2 days is only work from home. So people who are not localites, let's say if someone is coming from Maharashtra or Pune or something, so for them they are asking for a full-time work from home, which we cannot provide. So this is one of the challenge, and we have been giving benefits where during first time they are relocating, we give them guest house accommodation for 7 days. So such kind of thing, whatever issues come, we try to come up with a solution. So other challenges regarding work from home or hybrid model is throughout the organization is data leakage. So that is the biggest issue which would go on. So we should make sure that the IT system, everything is strong enough that they do not go and use the data anywhere outside.
Okay. So you have been into this HR field for 4 years. So
Yes.
how do you handle the grievance from the employees? Any cases that you can share real time?
Grievance, yeah. So what happens is sometimes there will be cases where two employees are not really comfortable with each other, and if an employee just randomly compliments, hey, you're looking good,
Yes.
that the other employee may not
May
like it.
not be.
And then of course that comes into a posh case, and then a big discussion would happen. We will have a different committee who comes into the picture. They will try to resolve. See, it's completely based on the impact which has created. So if it's the same compliment between two friends, that would absolutely be fine. But if it's a compliment between someone who's not actually comfortable between each other, there will be issues. So we did have a couple of such cases, and then we tried to resolve it verbally. We made sure that things will not go wrong hereafter by taking a kind of undertaking, and make sure that verbally they have apologized to each other. So these are the kind of things which we do. See, any organization will maximum try to do verbal and solve the issue, but again, if it crosses a limit or certain extent, and based on the impact, like I said, then there might be a kind of suspension as well.
Okay, now the AI is the biggest threat, and you think that it can be a threat for HR positions. Like
Yes,
it only will evaluate the performance of the employees, and it only suggests how to motivate that certain person in the
correct.
organization, like that.
So definitely, I can say that AI has become booming now. Even for resume shortlisting, companies are using AI.
Yes.
But again, to operate that AI and to solve the AI's issues, also you definitely need a human. So that is why HR jobs will not completely go off, but again, the percentage or count of jobs might reduce. In a company where there is requirement of 10 HRs because of AI, it might be replaced by around seven HRs. So that's how it happens in few companies. But at the end, grievance handling and all an AI cannot do, right?
Yes.
So definitely HR will have a role in playing in the company.
Yes. So that's where the HR comes into the
Yes,
picture.
yes.
Okay. What HR trends that do you think that it will be in the next 5 years? For
The upcoming trend for HR, I would say the graph actually goes up and down. It completely depends upon your market and the environment. See, we literally have been facing trends where there is a lot of generation gap between the employees, where we are handling freshers and an experience because of their ideology and all this. So what trend begins is we try to balance the middle age, new fresher, and an elderly person within the team. We make sure that it is a mix of all rather than
Yes.
keeping one specific age group. That way one of the HR trend must improve, and it is already in the process of it. And apart from this, a couple of things, that is the tool. So tool management, tool usage, more than manual work, now all companies have started doing HR tasks within the tool, so that all audits, everything will be made simpler. So that is another trend which is booming.
Okay, ma'am. What advice could you give students aspiring to build a career in HR? As of my friends, they are like they are mostly into finance or marketing. Most of them are going to be finance or marketing. Even there is HR specialization. There are very few people who get into
Yes,
that.
I understand. I also
Yes.
was from the same place, right?
Okay.
Yeah. See, it's again completely the person's choice. It's the person's passion towards something. They would definitely thought of some ideology before joining HR, right? So one suggestion I would give to all the HR students is that they choose their role in a right way. I keep telling, I have literally given many interviews for the college, for other guests as well. So most importantly, it's the role you choose. If you are someone who cannot do a repetitive work or just in one part of HR, like if you are just doing recruitment or just doing employee engagement around the 365 days, then you are actually not dealing with all the HR concepts which you dealt. So that's how I say you have to choose your role wisely. So initially, do not look for money. So
Yes.
money does not matter always. So as you keep growing, your income also will be drastically increasing. So I've seen people who want to go to HR but think because of money, or they think because of the role. So wisely choose your role, and role is more important than money. So this is one thing which I want to tell.
Yes, that's actually the biggest thing because nowadays people are into the packages what the company is providing. They don't even see the profile of the company. If the company profile is very good and it will add up to the resume.
Right.
Yes, ma'am.
Correct.
So, what factor influences this salary revisions and the promotions in your organization?
See, salary revision is completely based on the performance. There will be certain set criterias, around 10 to 15 criterias. So it's completely based on their performance in that criteria. So based on that, the salary revision would be there. Coming to promotion, so in our organization, it is 2 years once. That is analyst, associate, senior associate. The stop would be there at lead associate. So after lead associate, if someone have to become a team lead, then they really have to work their hard out. So they have to put in full of efforts. They have to manage a team. Only if they are eligible and capable for that, then they will be promoted. So initial designations, around three designations, will be based on your tenure and performance, of course. But after that, it's completely based on your performance rather than tenure.
So I have heard from many of my super seniors or from my seniors that in the organization basically the HR gives like the employees get promotion sometimes based on the biasness or from the demographic region they belong to. If they have some recommendations from the
See,
politicians as well.
such things will happen in big four companies. I can say maybe bigger companies, but not in a mid-sized or a reasonably sized employees. It again depends on the managers and employees. Everything always is not controllable. So yes, everywhere there would be a part of it.
Okay, there are this labor laws and most of the employees acts and others. So how these are most critical, crucial in the HR today? How?
Labor laws, again, it depends on which role you're doing. Basically, if you're working for an HR, as an HR in any industrial places or any factories, and you're handling the labors or anything as such, then Adds value more, wherein you have to know more of laws so that you speak with them also. But in a regular corporates like mine is an investment banking company, so for us labor laws is definitely required, but I won't say it adds a lot of weightage for our role.
Okay, ma'am.
So it depends on the role.
Okay. What steps have you taken towards the mental well-being of the employees? Because nowadays it is very stressful environment and people are very workaholic and they work overtime.
Yes, yes. So we recently had a yoga session, and we also had pottery workshop where employees can come down, make small potteries, and they can take it along. We do have events. We have conducted many events, games, and then we take them to parties, off-site event. As a relaxation, we take them every year into a kind of resort and then party. So all many wellness programs and games, even if they win or anything, they will be awarded something, so such kind of things will boost them and make them to come forward to participate and play and have fun. That is a couple of things which we do.
Okay, ma'am. So, how is HR leveraging data and HR analytics to make more effective decisions in areas such as workforce forecasting, performance and management and retention?
You mean retention strategy?
Retentions, yes, ma'am.
See, retention when it comes to HR at our, our company. So we generally make sure that employees are getting decent hikes, so that the hike is not the reason that they leave. But again, you will have many employees who are planning for their higher education. You cannot stop them. So one thing is definitely managers, HR will have a meeting and discussion with them, understand what is the reason for their movement, and then we will try to retain the employees. So this is one way. Other retention strategies, of course, which all the corporates do, that if they are looking for a hike, we'll make sure that we will try to improvise that in the upcoming cycle and then give them a better designation or a project. So all this depends on the capability of a person. So if just because someone is trying to leave, you cannot give them a hike, right?
Yes.
So it's all based on the employee itself. Retention strategy would be planned.
Okay, ma'am. How do you manage this resistance the employee resists to change to certain environment? Like they don't adapt to that environment very quickly. So how do you manage that?
So for these also, you have certain committees and certain management who will become buddies. So there's something called buddies in corporate. So these get together, they sit, they try to discuss a couple of things and try to understand the mindset of each other, and accordingly they will be nudged and pulled into that workplace. So accordingly they will blend and work.
Okay. How do you build a learning oriented cultures in your organization?
See, like I said again, training is what how they learn, and they should. It's not just training which is given by the company. Each employee should personally have something by own will to learn something, so that they get access to different tools and they start working actually in detail. So it's again both win-win will only be there if it's both employee efforts and the management efforts.
Okay, ma'am. So, being an HR, it is very important for you to ensure that there is ethical behavior within the organization.
Yes.
So, how that is handled and next.
See, ethical behavior is something that everybody should have within, and you cannot force someone at that age to behave, and you cannot teach. Of course we will have training sessions, what are the rules, policies, procedures, so accordingly the employee will adhere to it. If there is some misguidance or misleading of any behavioral issues, that will obviously be flagged, and we do have committees within the organization who will be dealing that.
So, how do the exit interview contribute interviews contribute to the HR improvements?
Exit interviews, yes, we do collect feedbacks as to what needs to be improved, what if they have faced any issues, or will they be in future any day willing to rejoin us. So all these details we will get from them. So if there's anything that we can also improve, it would be there on the exit feedback forms.
So, how do you manage this culturally diverse workforce in the organization? Like many people, it is like in Hyderabad, there are many people coming from some part of Bihar, some from UP or Maharashtra, like that.
Yes, so diversity would definitely be there. We have people from all over the country, and what we do is we celebrate all the kind of festivals. We make sure that any games we are planning does not offend or anything. So we make sure that it is open and everybody can participate and enjoy in such a way. So that's how a couple of things which HR does in maintaining the diversity.
Okay, ma'am. That's all for questions.
Okay.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank
I'll
you,
stop
Sneha.
the recording
Have a
now.
good day. Yeah, yeah, sure.